Good morning, everyone. My name is Fiuna Manior, and today I'll be summarizing and presenting about my special study model, which is about the nervous system from science to neurosurgery. So, this presentation will cover the basic sciences behind the nervous system, which are its anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and pathology. And I will also talk about how all of this knowledge supports the real neurosurgical practice. Let's begin. To start, let's look at the categories of the nervous system. Basically, the nervous system can be divided into two main parts. The first one is the central nervous system, CNS, which includes the brain and spinal cord. The next one is the peripheral nervous system, PNS, which includes all the nerves that extend from the brain and spinal cord to the rest of the body. So, the main function of CNS is to interpret information, makes decisions, and also coordinates responses as it is the main control center of our body. Meanwhile, the function of PNS is to link the CNS to organs, skin, and muscles. The PNS can be further divided into three groups, which is the somatic nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, and also enteric nervous system. So, the somatic nervous system function is to control voluntary activities such as movement of skeletal muscle. Meanwhile, for autonomic nervous system, it is to control involuntary functions like heart rate, digestion, and breathing. So, autonomic system has two other division, which is the sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. Now we move on to the enteric nervous system. Sometimes it is called the brain of the stomach because it operates independently to control digestion by sensing chemical changes and stretch in the gut. So these categories work together to allow the nervous system to perform three basic functions, which is sensory input to detect the external and internal stimuli, and the second one is the integration function, which is to process and interpret the information in the CNS. And last but not least, for the output function, which is to send signals to muscle and glands to produce a response. Now, we move to the physiology part. The neuron is the basic functional unit of the nervous system. It consists of three main parts, which are dendrites that receive signals, cell body or soma that maintains the neuron, and also axon that sends impulses to the other cells. Neurons are functionally divided into three types of neurons, which are sensory neurons, which carry signals to the CNS. Next is the motor neurons that send commands from the CNS. And lastly, interneurons that process information within the CNS. This structure of neurons allow the nervous system to control everything from reflexes to complex thinking. Now, let's see about how the neuron communicate. Neurons communicate by using graded potential for short distances communication. Meanwhile, for long distances communication, it uses action potentials. And now, I also want to highlight another context that is important in the physiology part of a nervous system, which is the myelination process. Myelination process is the process of producing myelin that can speed up the conduction. In CNS, oligodendrocytes will myelinate multiple axons. Meanwhile, in PNS, the Schwann cells will myelinate one axon and aid in axon regeneration. And lastly, for neuroglia, its function is to support the neurons. Neuroglia that is present in the CNS is astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, microglia, and ependymal cells. Meanwhile, in the PNS, the neuroglia that is present in PNS is Schwann cells and satellite cells. Though neuroglia don't conduct impulses, they are vital for neuron function and survival. Now into the biochemistry part. So first, I will try to explain about the action potential briefly. First, neurons maintain a resting membrane potential at about negative 70 millivolts. But when a stimulus reaches the threshold of approximately negative 55 millivolts, an action potential will begin. During this event, depolarization occurs as sodium ions rapidly enter the neuron, making the inside more positive. This is also called the sodium ions influx. Then, it's followed by the repolarization, where the potassium ions will move out of the membrane, which will help the neuron return to its resting state. This is also called the potassium ions efflux. So, this electrical impulse then will travels along the axon and allow information to be transmitted quickly and efficiently throughout the nervous system. And finally, neurons communicate with one another at synapses by using neurotransmitters such as acetylcholine, amino acids, and ATP. Now, I'll summarize my finding about the pathology and treatment of brain tumors and also the advanced technology that is used in neurosurgery. First, let's focus on the pathology and treatment of brain tumors, which is one of the conditions that affects our nervous system. So, a brain tumor is an abnormal growth of cells in or near the brain. They can be a primary tumors which starts in the brain, or it can also be a secondary or metastatic tumors that spread from other organs, but later it will also affect the brain. Tumors can be benign, which is a slow growing tumor, or a malignant, which is a fast growing tumor, and it is also cancerous. Common type of brain tumors include gliomas, meningiomas, and pituitary tumors. Most of the brain tumors arise from random DNA mutations, although there's also some of them occurs due to genetic. Symptoms of the brain tumor vary with size and location of the tumors, but the can include headaches, vision problems, seizures, or even weaknesses. Diagnosis uses in to diagnose brain tumors is neurological examination, CT scan, and MRI. Treatments that is given to the patient that suffer from brain tumors include surgery, radiation, radiosurgery, and chemotherapy. And now, let's see what are the advanced technology that are used in neurosurgery. Neurosurgery has advanced with modern technology such as stereotactic radiosurgery (SRS) that delivers focused radiation to tumors without opening the skull. Even though the name of the technology is surgery, it doesn't require the opening of the surgery of the skull. So this method often use a Linac machine for precision. Not only that, neurosurgery field also use a virtual reality or VR to help in surgical planning and practice. Last but not least, neurosurgeon also use augmented reality AR that will overlay the 3D anatomical images onto the surgical field. So these tools improve the precision, reduce risk, and help surgeons to navigate complex brain structures safely. So, in conclusion, the nervous system is a highly organized network essential for life. Understanding its anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and related diseases helps helps us to appreciate how the neurosurgeons use modern technology to diagnose and treat brain conditions safely and effectively. So, that's all from me. Thank you for listening.